Hello and welcome to Nourishing the Good with me, Renee Francis Kahn, and I'm here in Montana. It's beautiful out. We just crossed over the solstice yesterday, and now we have entered into summer land. So I want to share with you today a little bit about what is the Nourishing the Good program, but more importantly, what is the Wisdom Gathering Quest and why you might want to be involved. So the first thing to understand about the Wisdom Gathering Quest is it's a 30-day journey that we're going to be doing together. We're building a community. That's still a little bit in the works. We've got time because the program's going to start on the 9th of July and run to the 13th. So it's actually a little more than 30 days. But each day I'm going to be showing up for you at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time. So it's good to get on the email list so that you get those reminders to join us in the community. And that's where we can have conversations live and just share thoughts about what we're discovering about ourselves as we go through this wisdom gathering quest. So it's an adventure. It's a quest. Many people during the pandemic, um, if you were like me, it triggered my neurosis, and that's a funny word to use because it has a negative context, but it's a pretty good word to use actually for generalized anxiety. So what came up for me was generalized anxiety, and that came from having a childhood with my father who really, really suffered from debilitating anxiety. And I was always worried that I was going to get a phone call that he'd killed himself, that it had gotten so bad that he couldn't take it anymore. That's how bad it was for him. But this was the family of origin that I grew up with. And so I learned how to manage his anxiety, everybody's anxiety around me. I thought that I learned how to manage it. That kind of set me up for some people pleasing behaviors, some codependency stuff, just, generalized trauma puzzle pieces. And over the last few months, I have dived deep with Dr. Russell Kennedy or Dr. Russ Kennedy, who I discovered on Clubhouse. I know I'm giving you a lot of information here. I just want you to understand that a big piece of this is what I discovered for myself is I could spend my whole life trying to fix the bad, the broken, going back and trying to figure out why I'm so messed up. I'm not messed up. I'm just human, just like you. And what has come out of the work that I've been doing with Dr. Kennedy is that for me, nourishing the good is more valuable in the long run than focusing on what's broken because that will it will resolve itself the more that I tune in to my own body and my breath and where the alarm shows up in my body and helping myself in that way. And as I do this work, then I become a better healer and teacher for you and the people who show up for this community. So what I did is so one of the things that I did several things during the pandemic. One of them was that I created a series. It was a 40-day series. I said I was going to go, like this happened right after the everything was shut down. And it was, eerie. It was so eerie. I don't know if you experienced it, but and I live in a little town, but I can't even imagine what it was like in a big city where there's a lot of hustle and bustle and suddenly like basically silence. Whew, eerie. Um, so it brought up all the anxiety, all the angst that I hadn't done enough in my life, and that if I died, what would be done with nobody would know anything about anything that I knew about. And so I decided that I would go 40 days live to video. And I unfortunately did it on Facebook. And my Facebook personal Facebook was hacked a month ago. Of course, that's going to bring stuff up again. But because of the anxiety work I've been doing, the work around healing my own anxiety, I didn't bother me nearly as much. I just went, oh well, but in a way, that series may or may not ever reemerge again. And it was interesting because it was coming out of that period of time that was really an interesting period of time for us when we look back, if we can just say it was interesting. But there was just a lot of uncertainty, and we hate uncertainty. There was a lot of loss. People lost people's friends and family to the virus. So grief was up for people, and this is stuff people don't want to deal with. We hate grief. We hate uncertainty. It's just the way that it is. And so I did this to soothe myself because I was like, well, if I croak, if this thing kills me, at least I have delivered this information that I hold in my body and hold in my brain, and maybe it'll be useful for future generations. That was my whole goal. And then I took a coaching program about I was going to become a grief coach. And I decided against that because my real work is nourishing the good. Nourishing the good will help with grief. It will help with anxiety. It will help with depression. It will help with all of the neurotic tendencies that come out of trauma and loss. Because it gets us tuned back into our body. It gets us reconnected with ourselves and reconnected with others. That's why this work works. The stuff will continue to come up and show itself to us the more healthier and healed that we become. So because we're focusing on the good, because we're focusing on gathering our wisdom, and that's what that 40-day piece was. I was looking for my own wisdom. What knowledge have I gathered that's potentially useful to others that I wanted to share, to leave in case I died? So that's kind of what this is. So there's 30 some odd thought experiments and little exercises that we're going to be doing together every day. And that's what the program is. I'm very excited about it because I think that this is going to be the start of something really exciting. And that we can see the results for people over time because we're going to be sharing our experiences, because healing happens in community. We would come to the fire, around the fire, and sing and dance and offer prayers of healing for those who were suffering long ago. And we have the ability to do that virtually these days. And who knows what that's going to lead to. But I'm really excited about this journey, and I'm thrilled to be sharing it with you. I'm going to make a couple more videos with more specificity about, each kind of component of it. There's a longer outline. You don't need to know about that because I have a feeling that in some ways it will change over time. I'm willing to do that. I have a background in improvisation, both in music and in theater. And improvisation is kind of like a way of life for me. So it's like call and response, responding to what is coming up in the world and just giving my response. I want you to feel more comfortable and confident with your own improviso, with your own improvisation, so that whatever life hands you, there's that resilience, there's that flexibility, there's that flow. So we are close to 10 minutes. I try to keep these to under 8 minutes is my goal, but we've already crossed it. It's okay for today. The other videos will be shorter. All right. I'm sending love to you from Montana, and I look forward to meeting up with you from wherever you are in the world and finding out more about your life, the unique puzzle piece that you bring to this story, and finding out what we can do to help to nourish the good in you. All right. We'll be in touch soon. Take care till then.